Hello and welcome to another episode of Genshin Impact and Chill. So in today's video, I'm gonna yet again talk about the Base 3.6. But this time I'm gonna show you some of the teams that I've used to clear the 12th floor with full stars. So as you can see, I have a few screenshots here. Alright, so talking about the nomenclature of the files, basically due to the fact that Spiral Base 3.6 rotation actually lasts three phases, so now we are in the second phase, and here it's 14th of May today. So by 16th of May we will have the third phase. So first, second, now we're in the second phase. Then by 16th of May we will go into the third phase, which is the final phase of the Spiral Base 3.6 rotation. So for the first phase, a couple of weeks back, I'm mainly using the Raiden Hypercarry, where Sucrose is used to substitute Kazuha because I don't have him yet. So now that we know that he's coming in 3.7, so I'll be definitely pulling for him. And then for the second half, I'm using the Nahida team, Nahida Hyper Bloom with Yelan as a background image. So as you can see from here on in, I'm mainly using the Raiden Shogun core for the first half, and then the Nahida core for the second half, which is, in my opinion, the best archetype distribution between these two. So for my Raiden Shogun, she's C3, Kujou Sara is C6, Benny is C6. Don't ask me about that because I mean technically I don't really play Eula, or nor do I plan to build her team, and his C6 gives about 15 additional pyro damage bonus. So since I also use Xiangling, so that's quite beneficial. And then we also have Sucrose. Sucrose is at C1. Yeah, by the way, my Raiden Shogun is 2+1. Or you can also call it C2 R1, where she's building the R1 engulfing lightning. And then Kujou Sara, she's using the sacrificial war bow, I think. Sacrificial bow, yeah. So and then my other 5-star characters are all at C0. So this is basically the first ever team that I used to clear the 3x6 Spiral Base 412. Now the second team I used was so I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this team, or at least the Raiden Jin Yelan core. So the core basically makes use of Raiden Shogun's weapon, her best in slot weapon, engulfing lightning, because if you use her weapon along with Benny in your team, the overall boost you get from the weapon in comparison to the catch is basically around 10% only. However, if you don't use Benny, the boost you get is quite a lot. It's around 20 to 30%. I'm not quite sure, but that's why you can use a Jean as a healer. So Jean, of course, she can shred the elemental resistance with her 4-piece Viridescent Veneer sets. So she can, she's good. And then Yelan, we can use her for the background damage. And then we have the Kujou Sara to boost the Raiden Shogun's damage further. And then for the second half, I'm using a Virgin Hyper Bloom team, where Thoma actually provides a lot of comfort with his shields, apart from opening the reaction of Virgin, apart from Hyper Bloom. Now the third team, so for the second phase, for first time of the second phase for me to clear the abyss, I actually used the same team. However, for the second time, I actually experimented the national team. So the upper half, the first half, I'm using Raiden National, but of course Xingqiu is substituted by Yelan, since Xingqiu is much needed by in the second half Hyper Bloom team with Fischl. So now my Fischl, I mean, while I do this, my Fischl was at C4, but then now my Fischl is C6, which which will be featured in my next team combination. So to be honest, the national team is the actually the second hardest. The hardest, the one hardest team was this one, this combination, because the first half, Benny is actually not really effective against the consecrated beast, because the beast keep pushing us out of the Benny circle, so we can't maximize our buff and maximize on the Benny's buff. So that's very difficult to pull off the perfect Raiden Hyper Carry rotation combo, but it's doable, of course. And then we have this combination which is quite comfortable on both halves, where you have the Thomas shield in the second half, and then Jin quite comfortable in the first half, because for Jin you actually just need her initial heal, the big heal, while using her press Q, and then after that you don't really need to stand inside her circle or anything, so it's very comfortable even if the consecrated beast keep pushing you out of their circle, so it's fine. And then we have this team which is the second hardest, second from this combination, because this team, okay, so first of all, Benny is the issue. You kind of have to stand inside the circle to get the heals for the other characters, and then for the second half you don't have the shield from Thoma, while Fischl actually doesn't provide enough background damage compared to Yelan that I first used. So because keep in mind that this is actually C4 Fischl, so she's not as strong as she is now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But if the damage is enough, of course you can pull it off with this team combination. It's just that you might need to reset and retry a couple of more, like quite a couple more times compared to other more comfortable comps. And then I also come up with this quite an interesting team combination. Team combination, which is I'm using the mono electro in the first half, and the second half I'm using the Hyper Bloom team with Yelan. So for the mono electro, I'm using the C2 R1 Raiden Shogun with C6 Fischl with the stringless R1 only, and then Jin C0, and then Kujou Sara C6. So I mean, what makes me want to try this team is first of all, I'm a Raiden Shogun main, and I'm quite fond of the electro element in general. So my Fischl was C4, and then after I got her to C6, I kind of have an idea like why not try use Fischl as a background damage dealer instead of Yelan. So I did that, and it works actually, and it works like a charm, because first of all, if you use a mono electro, the rotation actually gets very smooth. This is due to like the energy balls that you receive are all electro, so it maximizes the energy recharge efficiency, so you don't run into issues as much as, let's say, where the Fischl is substituted by Yelan. But of course, with Yelan you can kind of mitigate this issue by having a slightly higher energy charge, and also by using E before Q, because you kind of absorb you kind of fully absorb all the hydro energy balls with your cast time in the Q. So I hope you get what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so overall I think this is actually the most comfortable comp for me so far. The mono electro is really comfortable if you have the required constellations, I guess. I didn't have the chance to try this comp with Fischl C4, but yeah, I'm not sure if C4 will work. I mean, probably will if, I mean, of course it will if um, the your second half can be fast enough. And actually, I think this team combination is the fastest team combination. I mean, the team combination that requires the least time for me to clear the 12th floor. So I'm very satisfied with that because Mono Electro is kind of something like a, it is something like an interesting team and not like a orthodox team. So yeah, I'm super happy with the results. And that's the four teams I have for you this time. The first being Raiden Hypercarry with Hyperbloom, Yelan, and then we have the Virgin variants of the Hyperbloom team. And then we have some of the national components, and then we have Demon Electro. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm super happy about it. Look forward for the third phase though, because for the third phase, I'm gonna try to use Mono Electro as well as the Hyperbloom plus Burgeon instead of Yelan. So I'll be trying that, and hopefully if I manage to clear it nicely, I'll be sharing the results with you as well. So yeah, I think that's it for now. Yeah, thank you for watching and have fun with this fire base. Bye bye.